Alrighty guys, today we're going over asynchronous functions in JavaScript, and I'm going to be teaching you how to make this super cool rain animation for you guys to also use in your website. So look at that, and let's get right into it. Okay, so here is my HTML. We have a div named carousel, and inside that div we have some images that are going to be the raindrops for our animation. And then in my CSS, we have our default styling with our raindrop image here and an animation keyframe called move, which is going to basically make our rain move down to the ground. And we also have our class selector named rainfall that will run our animation for us. So let's start off with the JavaScript. So the first thing we want to do in our JavaScript file is to call each of the raindrop elements that we have. So you'll notice here in my HTML that I don't actually have IDs for each of the raindrops because that would actually be inconvenient. In order to call each of the raindrops by ID, I would have to name like rain 1, rain 2, rain 3, rain 4, you get it. So instead of getting each of the elements by ID, I will get each of the raindrops by its class name using document.getElementByClassName. And then I will get our rain class. And basically this is going to get all of our rain elements. So now what I want to do, I want to cycle through each of our raindrops and then add the animation to them. And I'll do this using a for loop. So starting with I = 0 and then going all the way to every single raindrop that has the rain class in it. And incrementing by 1 at a time, I'm going to get each raindrop I and then add our rain animation class, which is called rainfall. And as you can see, our rain animation is working. So now what I want to do is make each raindrop start in sort of a weird pattern because rain doesn't fall all at once like that. So I'm going to create what's called an asynchronous function. And I'll call this raining. And I'm going to use this asynchronous function to add the raining animation to each droplet at a random time. So I'm going to do that by using await and then wait for 1,000 milliseconds. But as you've noticed, now the raindrops don't actually work. JavaScript doesn't actually have some sort of synchronous wait time. So if I were to use set timeout, the animation for it to drop randomly wouldn't actually work. So what I want to do now is create a function called wait. And then inside that function, I want to return a promise. And inside this promise, I'm going to have a resolve that sets timeout by some sort of random number in between 1 second. And then return that resolve. So now all I gotta do is actually use the function. And as you can see, our rain starts dropping at random intervals. So to summarize this code, we have an asynchronous function named raining that goes through each of the raindrop elements and then randomly adds the rainfall animation to each of the raindrops. And this random wait time happens using another function called wait that returns what's called a promise. Basically, this function has to finish before this piece of code can continue on to the next line. So we have to wait in a random time frame in the duration of 1 second. So there we go, guys. That's how to make our raining animation. But one more thing, you'll notice that it still starts off kind of weird. So if you go to your styles.css, you'll notice that I have another class selector called hidden, and I'm going to add this hidden class onto each of our raindrop elements. And now I'm going to have it so that each raindrop is going to remove that hidden selector so that we can actually see the rain again. And now, when you refresh your page, you'll notice that each of the raindrops drop randomly. And so there you have it, guys. That's it for today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know down below in the comments, because this specific topic is pretty hard. And even like old learners like me still have a hard time sometimes learning about how concepts like this work. So there you have it, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.